Some people used to come to Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam and they used to ask Imam that what is the reason that the substance which comes out of our eyes, it tastes salty. The substance which comes out of our mouth, which is called saliva, is sweet. And the substance which comes out of our ears is bitter. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam asked that what is the question, what is the real question? Imam alayhi salatu wasalam was being told that eyes, mouth and ear all are in one skull, nearby to each other. But all these three body parts, when the substances come out of them, they have different tastes. And what is the wisdom behind it? What is the reason behind it? Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam told that eyes are made up of shahm, fat. And fat, when we have to preserve it, we have to put it inside a salty water. The salt is something which preserves the fat, which our eyes are made up of. Our eyes are made up of fatty substance. Shaham, we call it in Arabic. So this salty substance in our eyes has been put by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for a reason, to safeguard our eyes. If not, it was not salty water, our eyes would have gone whale. It would have gone of no use. Within no time, within 10 to 20 years, our eyes, we would have lost our eyes if this salty substance would not have been there inside our eyes. The other question, what is the reason of the substance, the saliva, which comes out of our mouth? It has sweet taste. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam says, if the substance, this saliva, would not have been sweet, how much or as much water you would have been drinking, you would not be able to quench your thirst. Because the salty waters never quench or satisfy our thirst, how much water we are going to intake or we are going to use. The third reason and the third thing regarding the ears. The substance which comes out of the ear has bitter taste. And the reason behind it is when we are sleeping, the bacterias, the hasharatul ard, the cockroaches, the ants, and the different small creatures of Allah would have entered in our ears if this bitter substance was not being put by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this all has been arranged by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our safeguard, for the eyes safeguard, for our thirst, and for the safeguard of our ears. Somebody came, and this is in another hadith and tradition, came and asked Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam that, O the son of the Prophet, tell us what is the reason our knee folds forward and not backward. What is the reason that our eyes opening looks like almonds and not made in a circle shape? Somebody asked, what is the reason of the eyebrows? Why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created our hair till the forehead and did not grow hairs on the forehead? Why the nostrils open downwards and not upwards? Why our skull has gaps in it, and why it is not formed in one piece without the gaps? Imam alayhi salatu wasalam answered, the reason behind the gaps in our skull is that when our brains, which has very small veins inside, whenever we think, there are sparks within those veins, and those sparks create temperature. And that temperature creates some gases within our skulls. For the gases to come out of our skulls, the gaps were needed. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has already naturally put those gaps in our skulls. Why? What is the reason the opening of our nostrils is downwards and not upwards? Imam alayhi salatu wasalam answered that if it would have been opened upwards, so many dust and so many things would have entered our nose unannounced, and unconsciously they would have made us ill and sick very badly. What is the reason that the openings of our eyes are in the shape of almond and not they are circled? The reason, Imam alayhi salatu wasalam said, if it would have been in the circle shape, if anything or any particle of a sand, for example, if it would have entered in our eyes, it would have been near to impossible to take it out of our eyes if these openings would have been in the circle shaped. This is the blessing of the masterpiece of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He created the openings of our eyes in the almond shape, that whenever, as soon as the particles enter our eyes, we start to blink our eyes. Even unconsciously we are blinking according to the system of Allah which He has created for us, that whenever any particle or any dust enters our eyes, we start blinking unconsciously, so that automatically that dirt particle comes out of our eyes, being thankful and grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He created this in the almond shape. What is the reason? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made these kneecaps to fold forward so that we can walk easily. If it would have been opening backwards, it would have been impossible for us to walk even one step. So these were the questions which were being asked to Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam in his era. فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه ومتقن خطابه وقوله الحق وهو أصدق القائلين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad. All praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has always bestowed upon us